Alright, I want to go over some of the basic features and benefits of the Bolex P1 camera. The camera was built in Switzerland in the early 60s. These things are built like a really fine watch. I mean, they're very, very, very durable. They've withstood the test of time. These cameras are still very usable, and they should be used not just sitting around or looking pretty. They are a pretty camera, but they need to be used. And I use mine on a regular basis. I have 3. All are highly functional. And let's go into a little more detail, shall we? Okay, there's your ASA setting. And what this setting is basically is you're matching the ASA to your frame rate. Your frame rate on this camera, you can go from 12 frames per second all the way up to 64. Also, it's not recommended going above 24 without film in the camera. When you're testing a camera, don't go above 24 unless you have film in the camera. The dial is your shutter. If it's fully opened, it'll be right there. That's half open, that's closed, and that is stop. If you run it at half like I do, I run it at half. I run 120 when I'm running the 125 black and white film. What I do is I set the ASA on 64 and open at half. That gets me a little better light and bright light, a little better conditions. This here is a selector. This locks the camera in the up position. The middle position is single frame. You can use a extended cable on your shutter release button here and do animation. And then that's of course in the run mode. This is your motor winder here. I believe it's 22 half winds, and I might be wrong on that, but it's pretty close. What you want to do, Bolex claims you can overwind them. Yes, you can. Just be careful. When you feel it stop, just stop winding, and you'll be fine. This here is where you're going to look through. This is a reflex camera, so you're looking through what the lens sees in here. This is adjustment for your diopter for your eye. With me, I just have to have it just about all the way adjusted because I'm getting old. Now this would normally have a rubber eyepiece over it. Something else I recommend using. You can buy them on eBay for either $24 or $29. I don't remember which. Good investment. It'll cut down on light flare when you're filming. I'm just very careful and have been lucky, but I'm sure I'm getting flare that I shouldn't. This is your film counter. This, when it's done, you'll hear a little clicking. After 25 foot, it'll let you know when it's time to either turn the film over or remove it if it's on side 2. The lens is a 8 by 8 to 40 millimeter. It's a zoom lens. Excellent quality. I love them. A lot of people like the standard focal length. The fixed focal length lens is better, and I can understand that as well. I just like these because of the convenience, which makes the P1 my favorite of the 8mm cameras. This here is your f-stop. You can go 1.9 all the way to 16. Of course, the zoom lever, I don't think I went over that much, but this is the zoom lever. 40 millimeters is zoomed in. 8 millimeters is wide angle. I think 13 they call as normal. Let me show you a few of the accessories. This here, this is a must. This goes on here anytime you're outdoor shooting. The lens hood on these is absolutely necessary unless you're using a polarizing filter or if it's cloudy out. Now filters, the standard filters for these actually go in here. They fit right in here like so. And there's different ones. There's greens, there's red, there's blue filters. you name it. But that's how those filters go in. That's the standard filter. I bought a lens adapter and use the more modern screw-in filters, but that's a preference. Okay, let's open the camera up. This is how you open it. This would normally be down here, but I did this for convenience. You turn it to where it's vertical, and the camera should open right up. Get it to stand up a little bit here so we can keep that door open. This is where your film goes, obviously. Your full spool would be here, and it wraps around this direction, goes over your, makes a loop here, goes through your film gate, another loop down here, and back around the take-up spool. It's double-8, so it's 25 foot of film. Once you run this spool is full here, you'll flip that over, change the spools, and run the other half. Standard 8mm or double-8 is what they call it. That's your battery compartment. I figured out a battery replacement for these. The original were mercury. RM450 was the number. They were about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, I believe, in size. The newer battery use a hearing aid battery. The battery is a 675 zinc air hearing aid battery is all it is. Because it's thinner than the original, you need a spacer spring or something to make contact with the cap, the back of the cap, which is right here. That's the contacts inside. I got lucky. All three of mine, the contacts were fine. There was no leakage, so my meters will work. If your meter doesn't work, it's not a big deal. Use a handheld. Put the battery in, that spring, and just screw that on top. It's that simple. This here is a rewind crank. This goes in like so, and you can actually you shoot a scene, then you disable your shutter, your motor from the everything. You rewind. I can't remember how many frames each crank is, but you can fade a scene out, rewind that, and then fade a scene over the top of it. Basically, you get double image. That was a big thing back in the 60s. I never use it, but it is a feature that this does have. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and load the film up. But first I'm going to show, this is an old expired roll of film, so I use it to practice, to test my cameras to see how they're running. You got a bright side and a dark side. Always remember, for you guys not familiar with 8mm cameras, the bright side goes towards the lens. So when you're looking at it from this direction, you should see the dark side, so the light side is facing the lens. This here is your film gate. Film has to go behind there. When you get the film set, you close that. It won't let you close the door if this is still open. So it's kind of foolproof, but it's something I forget every now and then. So let's load this thing up, and we'll go from there. Okay, to load the film, you do this in subdued light, as darker the better. But you'll see the slit there with the hole in it. That's the one that I use. I get it started like so. Try to get it wrapped one complete time. Do that. Film gate is open. So now I will route the film around the where the loops are. Put that down, make sure it's sitting flat, close the film gate. It's that simple. You can even push the button. I see the film moving, so it's loaded properly. Close it, like I said earlier, turn that way. Your double side and your single dot, just kind of gives you an idea if it's a single dot, put it down for the first side, flip it over for the second side. I've already wound this. It takes about 20 turns, and this thing is ready to go. I've got it on 24, and this is what it should sound like. Let me show you what the film actually looks like running through the camera. If I can get this open, I apologize for that. And this should be a pretty good shot here, being able to get that. So you can hear that, it's running smooth. If it starts flapping or anything, that's what they call losing loop. If you buy one that needs a CLA, I can pretty much promise you that's what you're going to run into, is it'll lose loop. And then it just stops and needs to be wound again. I can't think of anything else to discuss other than make sure that you got your film set right. Make sure that you're not losing loop. Like I said, you'll see it flutter, you'll see it flicker. I wished I had a video of mine before I got the CLAs done, and you could see what I mean. Let's look at the front of this camera that I didn't go over. Another feature. This is your this button right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you got a battery check button, and there's a sequence that you do that's in the manual that tells you how to do it. All right, here's the handle for it. Very nice. Everything on this thing is chrome plated aluminum. These are very nice. A couple of tricks to this. This top screw, if you ever need to remove it, is reverse thread. So it's turn it to the left to tighten and turn it to the right to loosen. That holds this in, which holds the trigger. If the trigger comes out, there's a spring that pushes that back out. If you lose that spring, that's also in that Harbor Freight kit. I recommend, if you got a handle that works, don't touch it, don't mess with it. Screws on right here. Do that. Give it a couple of winds. And as you see, that's how it activates. The only other thing I've got here is I've got the manual. Manuals are available online. There's no reason to have a printed copy. It just came with one of my cameras. These cameras a lot of times will come with a leather case. The leather case is nice, but it's not as convenient as some of the newer camera cases. The price of these cameras, if they're in good working order with a fresh CLA, probably $175 to $200 or more. If you're buying one that's not tested, I wouldn't go much over $40, $50 max. There is a gentleman in Arizona, I believe it's Bolex Repair on his website, and he'll do a CLA. Basic CLA is around $100. Very, very, very good investment. I highly encourage it. The other thing I would say, and that is that right now, if you go on eBay and you're going to buy one, always go under actual sold listings, and you'll see the real price of what they've sold for on there. There's a couple that have gone over $100. The rest have not. It's just not a $100 camera or more if it needs a CLA. Film, there's multiple places to get regular 8mm film. I use John Schwinn, which is International Film Brokers. Great to deal with. He tries to keep the best inventory he can. Your other options are B&H, Freestyle Photo, and but there's a few host of others out there. Right now it's kind of nice because there's all kinds of films available for it. I'm shooting black and white reversal film most of the time just because I like it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I obviously don't know everything about these cameras. I've definitely could learn more. So anything that I have missed or should have said, or anything I was wrong on, please correct me. That's what this is all about. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoy the video.